Today, we're taking you on a tour through the Disneyland app. It's something you're going to want to do hands on. So, open your Disneyland app, and if you don't have it, press pause while you get that uploaded. It is blue with a white castle.
You're listening to Castle Talk Radio. We're live on the airwaves with Becca and Jessica. Now let's jump into this week's episode.
All right, Becca, do you have your app in hand? Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so this is jumping in a little bit ahead. If you haven't ever signed in or created a Disney account, it's going to prompt you to do that. But we're going to assume that that's already been taken care of.
And if you don't know if you already have a Disney account, it's the same account you'd use to sign into Disney Plus or the My Disney Experience or even the Disney Store. It's all one account.
That's right. And the first thing I see when I open the app is Hello, Jessica. And it has different things like Buy Lightning Lane Multipass. It shows upcoming plans. The homepage isn't one that I spend a lot of time on myself. What about you?
It is not. The thing I do the most on the homepage is I will scroll down and we're going to have, if you are only listening, you need to tune in where you can watch the video on YouTube because we are putting screen recordings up of this. But if you scroll down past the recommendation to use Disney Genie to plan your day and things like that, it has the park hours. That is the thing I use the most on this screen.
Okay.
So you can look at today's show times, you can switch between the two parks, or you can hit all hours if you want to look ahead for a vacation that's next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, that is a great one on the homepage. Scrolling down, there is a lot of kind of fluff and ads in this. Another one that we use often is Virtual Queue. It also showcases some of your photos if you've been there recently. But let's go ahead and click on that today's park hours and things like that. So it first highlights the castle icon, which means Disneyland Park. You could also tap on the Ferris wheel icon, and that will highlight California Adventure Park. It tells you the hours there. And since we're still in California Adventure, let's just go ahead and click on today's show times. That's the button right there below the park hours. And it is going to list show times for both parks and different entertainment options. And also, if you keep scrolling, it's going to show you things that are closed for refurbishment. Those are always super helpful. Let's see. The first one that I see on this one is Fantasmic. And I'm just going to tap on Fantasmic as well. And that's going to open another page for us in the app. So that gives us a little bit more detail into Fantasmic. It tells us the exact show times. It has an icon where you can find where the show is on the map. And if you keep scrolling down, it gives you a synopsis of Fantasmic, how to watch it, and a couple of tips to know before you go. So that's the basics of the home screen. Becca, did you have something to add for that?
I did. And it's what I noticed. Like, I rarely use that because I usually keep up to date on what's closed and what's not. One thing I have a problem with this is when you look at the first part where it just lists fireworks and nighttime entertainment, it puts everything there. That does not mean it's there that day. So you're wanting to look for a time under it or go into it and see a time. So like today, the day that we're recording this, when we tap on Fantasmic, it says there are no show times today because they now only show that on the weekends. We're recording it on a weekday. So definitely make sure that you're not just saying, oh, it's on the list. That means it's happening.
Right.
You want to look for an actual time listed or go into it to see if there's times listed that way.
Yeah, totally. So on that full list, it says today at the top and park hours as well. But let's back out of that because we're going to go into some more, what I think are some more useful and crucial things to the Disneyland app. So that should take us back home, or you could always click the home icon on the bottom. So one of my favorite things with the app is to tap that map locator icon. That is just on the bottom next to the home and in the middle of the plus. So let's tap that. And the first thing that pulls up is attractions, and you'll see a map with the castle in the center. And this shows you current wait times for attractions that are just in that zone that you can see. So if you move your finger around just however you want, you can explore different parts of the park and just
Yep.
see kind of an outline. You can even pinch and zoom out, zoom in. If you're zooming out farther, you can see like the whole resort. You can even see the local freeways. You can see lots of things. So
Yeah.
the map version isn't one that I use a ton. Where I like to go from this is to show list, which is the top right of that screen. I just prefer it that way. I think it's easier to see the wait times alphabetically. When you're looking for wait
Yeah.
times, do you usually go for the list or the map?
I do the map, but I have my GPS turned on for this.
Okay,
And so it will pull, when I pull up the map from inside the parks, it will pull up the area I'm in. So I'm usually
perfect.
looking like really close. So if I'm just trying to decide which ride to go to next, I like to do that. However, if I'm doing our tips that we shared in our insider secrets, where I'm trying to find a ride that's down for closure, for that one, I actually prefer to go to the lightning lane list instead of
Ooh.
here, because
Okay,
this list, yeah,
shows
it shows
everything.
everything.
Yeah. So right now we're going back to we have the attractions list, and on the top left it says filter. So let's pick out some filters because sometimes this full list isn't super helpful, right? Especially if I know I'm going to be at Disneyland Park, I want to filter that location. So now under the filters you see you can do it by location, thrill factor. So let's just apply some filters. First we're going to tap Disneyland Park. And featured land, that's pretty funny. It's just like trying to kind of get you in to one area. I never use anything with that. Thrill factors, I don't typically do, but it's really cool that they have those. If you're like, I know I want something that is a thrill ride, that's a great way to navigate those. Ages, even things that preschoolers will like, or all ages, stuff like that. Or height, that's a great one. And it also has things for like physical considerations, mobility devices, even service animals, and more. So right now, we're just going to apply Disneyland like we've already done.
Let's do, if you go under interests and you ask for more options, the one I like is they have things like offer rider switch or offer single rider. And those are both, the rider switch is really big for parents with shorter children or children that may not like the thrill rides. So we
Totally.
can do that one. Let's do rider switch.
Okay. So we have the two filters applied, which is Disneyland and Rider Switch. We're going to apply, and then that shows up a list of attractions that you can use that option. Funny that the treehouse is the first thing because there's no attendant there. You would do your own rider switch
There is
there.
an attendant. There is an attendant if the line gets long. I think that's why it's there, is because when it
Okay,
first reopened, they had to
true.
space people, and so you would have had to wait in the line again. But that's usually not the case anymore, so it wouldn't matter. But I think it's there for when it does get busy like that.
Yeah. So let's go back to our list, and that just gives you a smaller list to work with so that you can see things that pertain to you that you want to go on, and you can scroll through, and anything that has red underneath it, that's kind of like Haunted Mansion. Right now it says use virtual queue. These are like extra things that you might want to be aware of. Or if, for example, right now as we're looking, it says Mickey and Minnie's runaway railway is temporarily closed. So those quick scrolls are going to give you just a little bit more information. And again, just like we did with Fantasmic, you can tap a ride and get more information. So I'm going to pick one that's closer to the top. We're going to do Alice in Wonderland because, again, this is all sorted by alphabetical order. If you wanted to, you could always go back to the map. So we're going to tap in Alice in Wonderland. It tells us the wait time right now and the forecasted wait time. It allows you to find it on a map, tells you we have any height, and it's good for all kinds of ages. And it also is a slow ride. It is dark and can be loud. It tells you the hours. So this one's a particular interesting one because it is open from 8 a.m. to 8:15 p.m. on this day that we're looking. And then it closes from 10:15. Oh, then it closes from 8:15 to 10:15. And then it reopens. So that usually is a closure when there is fireworks happening. Just to kind
Yeah.
of be aware, some things do close. It says that
Yeah.
right at the bottom in the fine print.
Yeah. So I definitely, this is a great way to look at those things and explore, and especially if you're trying to figure out if they'd be a good fit for a child with sensory issues or somebody with mobility issues. But I think we are like this, we could probably do like 20 episodes on this, but to move on, I think we need to move to the plus button because this is where a ton of the features that we love are at in the app.
Exactly. Yeah, the ones that we talked about before, these are kind of ones that you want to look at before your trip and just kind of get
Mm.
familiar with the ride. So why don't you move us into that plus button in the center?
Yeah. So the plus button in the center, this is one that is going to be very important a little bit before your trip. If you hit that plus button, it brings up a menu of approximately 7 just glancing items that you can do. And a lot of these are things that you'll do during your trip, but there are a couple you'll do other than that. So one is check dining availability. That top one is where you can go and you can look up dining reservations, places that require reservations, and see what's open. Those open. It's going really slow right now, so I'm not going to be able to do a ton with that. But you can open up dining reservations to see what is available during your stay. So if you're wanting to get Riverbell Terrace or Blue Bayou, this is where you would do it. And we're just going to move down the list. And this one that you'll use in the park, but we did mention in our first timers episode, you'll want to practice beforehand is order food. That is mobile ordering. So a lot of the restaurants and even now some of the carts are starting to offer mobile ordering at Disneyland Resort. And so you can order your food. You can order it starting at 7 a.m. usually each day. And then you pick a time that you want to be there. And it's really great. Definitely practice that. I wish we had more time to go through everything, but we don't. The next one is merchandise mobile checkout. This one's very spotty, I have found, as how well it works. So if you're not really into mobile checking out and not having to wait in line, don't worry about it. The other things on here are link your PhotoPass photos. So when you go and you have your PhotoPass photos taken by people in the park, that is what you would pull up and show them. And then when you pull that up, so pull it up with us right now. And then across the top, you'll see different things. So there's link attraction photos. If you're a Disney World regular, this is going to be weird to you because normally you're used to your Magic Band or your My Disney Experience automatically loading those ride photos in. At Disneyland, that's not the case. You still have to get your attraction photo ID and enter it in here, and that's where you do it. Link PhotoPass card is if you happen to not have your stuff out and you got a card from the photographer that had a code on it, and you'd scan that to link it. And you can press that now, and it'll just bring up your camera. But the big one that you'll want, and a lot of people suggest that you
Make
screenshot
it your
this
lock screen.
and make it your lock screen. And that is the QR code. You can show that to a photographer and they can scan that and that will load it into your app. And of course, though, if you have a Magic Band, you can use your Magic Band with the PhotoPass photographers, just not with the ride photos. And then it has a spot to link a ticket or pass if you haven't done that yet. So that's a very important one if you are wanting to get those ride photos and the PhotoPass photos, which I definitely suggest utilizing since they are included with the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. And ride photos, I believe, are still included for everyone right now. Definitely take advantage of that. Okay, so going back to the plus menu, The next thing down on that is to buy tickets and passes, and you're not going to care about that one because you've already gotten your discounted tickets from Getaway Today with our exclusive extra discount, which you can get at getawaytoday.com/CastleTalk. But because you bought those tickets through Getaway Today, you will need to use the one below it. And that is make a park reservation. So this is where you go once you get your tickets from Getaway Today. You can go and make your park reservation. It will take you to the website where you'll have to sign in, but you can do that. I do suggest that you link your tickets in the app before that, and we'll show you where to do that in just a moment. And then the last thing on this plus menu is book Lightning Lane entry. And so you can click that for a fast link to go to the list of things that are only Lightning Lane. You just have to make sure when you click that, it'll take you to a list of everything because it has the tip board. And there's a little switch you just have to tap to change it to show only Lightning Lane entrances. So when you do that, that's the easiest way, I think, to go and make your Lightning Lanes. And also, this is the easiest spot to scroll for Lightning Lanes of attractions that may be down. If you want more on why we do that, you can check out the episode that we will link in the show notes. And if you're on YouTube, will be a little card up above. That's our insider tips. Okay, Jessica, the next big one, I think we have to talk about the hamburger menu, the 3 lines, because I just mentioned linking your tickets.
So that 3 lines on the right, if you tap that, you're going to see kind of like a home screen to me. This is more of a home screen where you show my tickets and passes, rides, shows, Lightning Lane, order food, merchandise checkout, and link photos. So that's very similar to the plus. But I think the one that I use the most is the My Tickets and Passes. So you tap on that. And if you've already linked your tickets, this is where you're going to find them. So before you get to the turnstiles, to the main gates, this is what you want open. And you'll be able to scroll through and see those tickets there. There's also options to access the calendar. But let's say that this part is empty because you still need to link your tickets. So on the top right, there's a plus sign, and you're going to tap that. It's going to open 2 options, and you're going to want to use the link tickets and passes on the right. Has a little barcode icon. So that gives you options to either use your camera to link a ticket. Maybe you have a printed out ticket that you printed from your computer or from the gate, or maybe it's your extended family member that's coming with you and you want to make sure that you have all their tickets. And then you can also tap with a magic band or type in the ID. So the camera and the type in ID are the most common. So when I purchase my tickets from Getaway Today, I usually scan it actually on my computer. I open up the ticket and then I scan it with my camera. Sometimes that doesn't work. So then I'll type in the ID number, and it's going to prompt you to link your tickets and also give your ticket a name. So this is where you can name your ticket for each person in your party. And if you're not sure who's coming with you yet, you have cousins or siblings or friends that are coming, you can just label it with like an initial and your last name or whatever you want, because the ticket isn't actually tied to the person until your photograph is taken and tied to that ticket. So that happens when you go through the gate at this time. That might be changing in the future, though.
Yeah, that's the main one over there on that hamburger menu, except for there's one that you're not going to see on your screen right now that I want to share with people. And that is if you are using the Disability Access Service. And that will go on this list with the boxes, the big icons. If you or someone in your party is using the Disability Access Service and their ticket is linked into your account, once that is activated, that will appear there. That is where you'll go to make those selections. If you're having issues with that, please stop by a guest kiosk. They cannot help you with getting the desk, but if you're having issues of how to do it in the app, they will help you with that. This is just one I cannot record ahead of time because I do not actively have someone going with the DAS right now at this point. And just a few other things when you scroll down on that hamburger menu, there's also things like future plans, reserved dining, hotel reservations, things that you can access. The hotel reservation ones, though, just note that that is for on-property reservations. And if you're staying on property, that's where you'll get to go. They have a separate access calendar. If you are to get your park reservations, that's where you'll do that. But this was a really quick overview, Jessica, but I hope it helps
So
someone. Oh, you
there's
have a
so many other things that you can explore on the map as well. And I want to throw in one other thing, and that's the search. So the magnifying glass on the bottom, you can put in random things here, or not so random, like churros. And it will pull up a list of all the churros and where you can find them. You can also do water bottle refill stations. You can also do restrooms. You can do chicken nuggets if you want to. It might not be as specific, but I'm going to type it in myself and see what we get. And it tells us Stage Door Cafe, which is like chicken strips, and different places that have chicken for you
I
to
also
order.
find that the search function is the easiest way to make the Fantasmic, like to bring up Fantasmic dining packages or the World of Color dessert party. I find that's the fastest way to locate those special packages, or like the oh gosh, is it still the same name? The one in Tomorrowland, the lounge.
Yeah, exactly. So like when I type in World of Color, it auto populates and says World of Color 1, World of Color dessert party, World of Color dining package. So it gives you like quick access to those things. So this quick overview, we hope, helps get you oriented with the Disneyland app, but most of all, just gives you some options to explore. And I think also make sure your other adults in your party listen to this episode so that everyone knows how to navigate the Disneyland app. Your teens won't need this. You'll just hand it to them and they'll figure it out really quickly, but the adults, yeah, they're going to need this.
Definitely.